I'm Rabbitology, and I'm currently at Goldfield Trading Post in Sacramento, California. I think the main thing is clearly meeting everyone who has been talking about my music for so long with me online, and being able to like speak face to face with people and hear their stories and their connections with music and creativity is just so inspiring. And like, there's nothing that I enjoy more than connecting with fellow creatives in the real world. I translate some of my recordings from the dorm room up on stage with a little device called a launch pad. It helps me click buttons and have like recordings that I can loop over and over. But I also have Marcus joining me, Marcus Ho. He plays guitar, and he's kind of helping me bring this more like loosey-goosey improv vibe to shows where we can play around and have a unique version of the song for like one performance and one performance only. Yeah, I was at in San Diego in a cottage by the beach, and our TV turned on its own at 2:22 a.m. to Jeopardy. No one touched the remote, and then I unplugged it and it stayed on, so that was a little spooky. And then I got sleep paralysis for the first time ever, which was very surreal. I felt a hand on my face, but I love ghost stories, so it's another one in the books. From this tour, not yet, but yeah, so during live shows, I invite everyone to sing with me during if we perform Foxcry, and then I also have some little like Easter eggs where we help kind of build sound together for other songs that I don't quite want to spoil unless they're live. But I do try to get the audience involved as much as possible. I know some people don't like audience participation, but I love it. And yeah, so if you're at a show, odds are you're going to be getting involved because a performance is not just me projecting, but rather us both interacting. I feel like the B-Sides was released kind of still in the winter, and winter in Michigan, for reference, is sad and drab and very gray and brown. And I've been kind of in these new songs thinking green, I guess, so thinking of bringing more life and still that like very earthy vibe, but I'm starting to let my world kind of grow with some new life, I guess. So I usually find like a work that I've read or interacted with, and I try to interpret it in my own way and then basically retell it. So I've done some retellings of like classic like stories from Genesis and kind of doing a more feminist interpretation of those. Fairy tales, poems, anything from the perspective of my own experience. So essentially taking someone's or an old story and saying, what would it be like if it was like through my head? There's a folk song that is my favorite song of all time. It's Hairs on the Mountain, and there's a couple different versions of it, and I've been listening to it forever, like since high school, but I feel like now I finally have the skills to interpret it in the way that I feel like I'm doing it justice, so just keep your eye out. It's a really fun and spooky song if you actually listen to the lyrics, so. Sometimes it starts with an idea, like I want to write a song about an apple, so I'm going to use an apple. Other times it starts with the object, I'm like, how does this connect to a certain vibe? But most of the time it's idea, and then, okay, we got to find things that are like existing within this world of the song. So for example, with Butcheress, it's about, you know, butchering. So I got like raw chicken, because that would exist in the world of the song, in the context. And then I also got like a synth from a cow mooing, because it takes place on a farm. So it's essentially thinking, okay, what exists in the world of the song. I feel like I try to make my music very accessible in the sense that I want it to sound like somebody made it and it's not like this perfect, pristine thing, to kind of show that anyone can make music, and anyone who, if you have an idea, odds are you can form it into a really good one that has a world behind it. So I think being DIY helps me connect more with like my creative roots, and instead of like floating off into some inaccessible world of, you know, professional studios and fancy instruments I don't know how to play, so. Yeah, I mean, I'll give a Hairs on the Mountain teaser, so keep an eye out for those lyrics. I'm weaving it into some songs, so.